I'm Bryony Horwitz. I'm a co-founder of Pink Rabbit Productions, and we're a very new company trying to make work for 3 to 6 year olds. Yes, I also do all kinds of other work, but that's the thing. I did 3 shows today, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Jane Batsoffen, and I guess I work as a freelancer in a capacity as a director and a designer, both costume and stage design. And I predominantly, my career so far has been working with deaf and hearing performers to make accessible theatre to both deaf and hearing audiences, as well as working for another organisation who I love deeply called Clowns Without Borders, South Africa. And what they do is they create clown shows and performances and take that and tour that to rural areas within the whole of Africa and bring joy and laughter, so it's more social upliftment. And that's been the majority of work I've done with my youth and younger audiences.
Hi, I'm Janine Colopart. I'm also a theatre maker. I have a little company called Hello Elephant, but really I'm a freelancer. Also making theatre, also working in the disciplines of mask work and clown and physical theatre, you could say. The interesting thing for me about children's theatre is that I have by default been making children's theatre, so that's been such an interesting thing actually, because it's when your work does not have an age restriction, actually it's children's theatre that adults enjoy rather than adult theatre that children enjoy. And that's been a really interesting shift for me. So I'm a theatre maker, and I'm from Joburg. Yeah.
I'm Tan Nobaniso, and I'm from the Kweni in the Western Cape, so I can't say Cape Town. I am a freelance actor and a co-founder of a very small company called Theatre Through Motivation Productions, or better known as TTM Productions. Well, we kind of do a lot of things, from puppetry to drama in general, and traditional music and dance, especially in Isikosa. Yeah, that's it.
So can I now ask you, can you reflect a little bit on what your experience in Denmark was like? What do you feel it gave you? What surprised you? What intrigued you? How did it shift who you are as an artist? Anybody can start.
And of course, it's ladies first.
Okay, well, it changed my life completely. It really did. It was the most amazing experience. Maybe I should start with what I went in with. I went in perhaps with not much expectation. I thought this is interesting because in a sense my work is all ages work. So, but I never ever thought of it as being children's theatre. It never crossed my mind. But I was interested by the call and how the call was put, and I thought, yeah, I'm interested in this. So I went kind of like that, with a sort of open mind, but I had no idea what I was walking into. And if you ask me what my real expectation was, I was expecting children's theatre as I understand children's theatre, with flamboyant costumes and overacting and talking down to children and sort of didactic scripting, and that is how I understand children's theatre. And I mean, from the get-go, I saw 43 shows in the 3 weeks. Okay, there's a lot of theatre, and it is truly some of the best work I've ever seen in my life. The work works on a poetic plane, because children can go with poetry, and they don't ask why. They don't ask, like, it was so incredibly exciting, that a show that moved me just beyond where I found myself. I was watching it with my hand on my heart, leaning forward, target audience was a 7-year-old. Like, what? Like, yeah. So it has been terribly exciting because basically there is a huge headspace shift that has happened there, that should happen here, that children are an absolutely incredibly valid audience, and the respect that is just all over the show. And you know, having said that, I did see a few shows in Cape Town. They were also doing that, so it feels like the infiltration is very small though, and it certainly hadn't touched me. So yes, I'm touched now. So I don't know, maybe that's enough for now. Thank you.
Somebody else?
What she said. For me, it was really interesting. I've been going into it. I have a very dear friend of mine in the industry who is Danish. And she's been telling me what kind of theatre they make for children there for about the past 3 years. And I've been going, yeah, I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see it. And then this call came up to go and participate in this program that was happening in Denmark. And I thought, there's my opportunity. So I was like ready. I'm like, I'm going to see this great theatre, I'm going to see this great theatre. And what an amazing thing not to be disappointed. You know, because you sometimes think, oh, I'm just going to hear it, I'm going to hear, you know, Europeans make great work, and especially in Denmark, the work is so incredibly special, and that's everything that Janine was saying. It's because of the integrity put into it, and that's really what touched me, is that all the love and passion and thought and nuance and hours spent crying and deliberating over anything we put into theatre for adults is the exact same process that goes into what the children. It's so weird that we call it children, because I think we all feel a bit weird, like saying, oh, it's children's theatre, because it's got such a negative connotation here. I mean, the idea is here, when you just finish, you know, university or acting school, you're like, okay, I guess I'll start off with children's theatre, and then as quickly as I can get myself out of it, then I'm working my way up the ladder, when it should actually be the other way around, that you should work your way towards making children's theatre. Something else that I really loved and was a huge impression on me is that, because again what we see here is only the young people make children's theatre. A large majority of it is performed by them, even though they're directed by older people. But what I saw a lot in Denmark is that older people, 45 and plus, were in it. And it's so beautiful because it's such a, with that kind of age comes the right energy and the right presence and the generosity to be able to give what children really respond to. You know, they don't like being yelled at and screamed at and all the time. It was so beautiful to watch children really engage in quiet moments and gentle moments, and I love how you say poetic moments. And that was just really wonderful to be a part of and watch work that as an adult I just was engaged in, and some of the best work I've seen as a piece of theatre, full stop. And I think it's so amazing when a program is entitled Inspiring a Generation, and it's literally what it's doing. You walk away and you are so unbelievably inspired, and you're like, okay, here we go. How many things can I make, and what can I do, and how can I give back the feeling that I've had, and start to infiltrate that so that other people can feel it. That so not everyone can obviously be on the experience we've gone on, but that doesn't mean that everyone can't be touched by the experience of what it's intended to do, which is inspire. Yeah.
Well,
I'm so glad you didn't wait for all the ladies.
yeah, I'm not saying that she's a man. You know, the experience that I got from watching like children's theatre in Denmark made me feel very funny to call it children's theatre, because it didn't feel like it was children's theatre, but it felt like theatre. Yeah, it's simple as that. It is theatre, and because the magic that we always want to see in theatre was there. And they touched not only the children who watched the shows, but they touched my heart as well. Every time when I came out of the theatre, then I would always tell them that I feel like a child. They really brought out the inner child in me. And then just before we came back, then again I said I had fears because I was so inspired in Denmark, right? And I had so many ideas running through my mind. And then I knew coming back to South Africa, then she would go to Joburg, and she would go somewhere in Cape Town, and she would go back to Joburg again, and then I'll be in the Queen again. And then the people that I am working with in the Queen were not in Denmark. They did not get the same experience that I got. So now I kind of needed that they would have the same experience that I had, so that we could actually now go together. So I now had a challenge of keeping that inspiration within me throughout me being in the community. And I must say that it's been a blessing in a way, because the inspiration is still there, and I have a group of young people who are willing to be working with me on this journey. So yeah, it's been amazing. I am completely changed. I've been writing plays, and what we'd like to call adult plays. But then lately I find it difficult, because now I find myself going back to writing for children, and so that's where I want to stay. I even said that, I think 3 days back. I wrote on Facebook that I want to write plays for children. I want to tell stories to children. That's a new. Yeah, and then of course I'm losing some weight, so yeah.
It's another new me.
What I wanted to get out of going to Denmark was, what I was hoping for is that when I started trying to make theatre for children here, I had a very strong sense of what kind of theatre I didn't want to make. And lots of pictures in my head of the theatre I didn't want to make, but very few pictures in my head of the theatre I do want to make. So I was hoping to get some inspiration, and it did. What I really noticed was the variety. That there's just, in the same way that here you have, that in adult theatre you have something avant-garde, and you have something very traditional and wordy, and you have something completely physical, and you have that all of that is available for children. So there are complete dance pieces, and then there are dance/drama pieces, and then there are really abstract things with instruments for 1.5 to 3-year-olds. So that was one of the things that really struck me, was that you can make anything in any style for children. You don't have to feel like, well, now that I'm making children's theatre, I have to do fairy tales and I have to do pantomime, and that's my career now. That there's so much possibility. And what else was there I was going to say? I love the sense of respect. There's something on the stage that I think a lot of the shows, the actors, you kind of see them as actors and as characters. There's that kind of, there's not a lot of hiding in the wings. There's a lot of just being on the stage and being an actor and then becoming something else. And you could really feel the respect between the actors as well as the respect for the children. It doesn't feel sort of competitive or me acting. And And then I noticed that, again, getting to meet the companies, that there's a lot of collaboration between them. We worked with 3 different companies. None of them badmouthed each other. I didn't understand. There were some younger people, some younger companies who are up and coming and don't really have funding yet, and they can borrow lights or get advice. And obviously we just saw a little tiny piece, but it just felt like such a sense of being supportive of each other. That was really beautiful, and I feel like that comes through the work, and then you end up having these really quiet, calm, lovely children watching these quiet, calm, lovely shows, and it was mind-boggling. Something else that I really found inspiring was that the magic isn't in trickery, it isn't in hiding things from the children, it's in showing them how it works. So there was a piece of string, and there was a piece of stick, and they tied them together, and they made the taut, and then they hit it with the bow, and it made a sound. As opposed to coming through a machine or being hidden behind a curtain. There was again, the actors often were actors and then become a character right in front of the children. There's not this, you must believe that I am this creature, and you must believe it for the rest of your life. Well, I'm an actor, and this is what I'm doing now. And there's a complete magic in that. There's a complete magic in seeing how it works, and especially for children who are figuring out how the world works, to see in theatre how things work, but made creative and poetic and beautiful. It was amazing. So, yes. Great.
Thank you. So